Hello and welcome to Board Game Tutorials. I'm Cymrych Hughs from Blue Hand Gamers, and today we're going to learn how to play Cult, Choose Your God Wisely. So in Cult, Choose Your God Wisely, powerful deities live deep in our world, and it is our job as the leader of a cult to summon that deity we worship to take control of the world. But first, we have some games set up. Alright, now here's the basic setup for Cult. Now in this game, you start off with your Patriarch, a level 1 priest, a level 2 priest, and a level 3 priest. You'll also start the game with 2 followers and 5 coins. Now it's time for us to choose a cult. There's a couple of ways you can choose your cult. One way, you and the players among you can all choose who you want to play, either in some specified turn order, or just by agreeing on who sounds like fun to play. Another way to choose is by complete randomness, and that's what I'm going to do. Without looking, I'm just going to shuffle these up real good and choose the top 3. So it looks like the red player got Anubis, the blue player got Neriti, and the green player is currently spreading the belief of atheism. Now there's a few ways to win the game. One way is to have 5 altars on the game board. Now you have priests of varying strengths of influence between 1 and 5. On the back of that is a strength of 4, and it's a different symbol. This means it is an altar. That is a permanent fixture on the board. You will always have 4 influence on that location, but it comes at the permanent cost of one of your priests. The one way to win is to have 5 altars across the game board. And when the game round ends, you check to see if any player has completed any victory conditions, in which case you win. Another way to win the game is by having 4 fanatics. Now the third way to win is by summoning your god twice. Now what that means is you have to have the most influence in the 13th location, which is called the Rift of Darkness. Now not only do you have to have the most influence there, you also have to have the amount of divine might in influence. So in order to summon Neriti, the blue player would have to have 15 influence in this location. If successful, they then flip their cult sheet to the dark side on the back. And the last part of setup is determining first player. And first player token goes to the cult that has the highest divine might, which would be the Anubis cult. They have 17. So they would get the first player token. Now during play, following turn order, you have 2 different things you can do. You can preach and you can pray. Now when you preach, that means you're sending your free priests across the city. Now a free priest is any priest that is not located on your cult sheet. There are effects in the game that indicate you to do so. Your Patriarch is also considered a free priest as long as it is not on the cult sheet as well. However, your Patriarch's power is not listed on them like your free priest tokens. Their power is dictated by how many followers you have, plus any other abilities or cards that add to a Patriarch's power. In the beginning of the game, your Patriarch will be worth 2 points. So when you preach, you're sending one of your free priests out into the land. However, you have to pay attention to the number on the side. It's got a follower symbol followed by a number. That means you can only go to the lands in which you have enough followers for. Since you start the game with 2 followers, you can go to the very top. And then since you have the required 1 follower, you can go to the second row. In order to make it to the third row, you would need 3 followers. The fourth row is 5 followers, and the final row is 7. So to preach, you would find an area you have enough followers to go and place one of your free priests there. Now at this point, all players have played 3 preach actions. In order to take a 4th, you must sacrifice one of your followers. That follower that would then go back to the reserve, and you would be able to place a 4th priest. And it costs the same every additional action you would like to perform. But red doesn't see that's necessary. So what red's going to do is pray, the second available action among 2 things you can choose to do during your turn. Now when you pray, you're going to tip your patriarch over, meaning you are done taking turns for the rest of this round. Next, if you have any intrigue cards, you're allowed to sell them. They have a value written on the front. This would get discarded to the bottom of the deck, and you would gain the listed amount of coins. After that, you are allowed to purchase any of the licenses, which all have rather powerful abilities to add to your cult, as well as giving a permanent bonus power to your patriarch. Also, when you pray, if you have any fanatical mobs, on the side of the game board, you'll see little fire symbols. Depending on how many fanatical mobs you have, you are allowed to, at this point, take one of this row's location's benefits for free. But in the beginning of the game, we don't have any fanatical mobs, so we'll skip that. At this point, green also does not want to perform any other actions, so even though their patriarch is considered a free priest, they will still tip their patriarch over to indicate they're done. And lastly, blue will also pray. Now at this point, the intention phase is over, so we move on to the resolution phase. During this time, you can flip the patriarchs back up, and then we will resolve the locations in numerical order. First off, we have the ruins. Now at the ruins, you're allowed to draw 1 miracle card. And the miracle cards have all differing effects. Before determining the winner, every player in turn order is allowed the option to either play a miracle card from their hand, which is usually a benefit for that player, play an intrigue card from their hand, which is usually detrimental to other players, or perform any of the cult abilities. Now, when playing a cult ability, every cult has 2 available to them. Under the name or title of the ability has a cost. It'll tell you to either return followers to the common reserve, and then it'll give you an idea of what your benefit is for that ability. But your cult sheet will tell you how and what to do. We have red and blue in the ruins. In player order, red has no cards and doesn't want to play their cult ability, so they'll decline using any action. Even though green is not in this location, they are still allowed to play cards or cult abilities from their hands or sheet. Now, on here shows the image of a coin. Since blue lost, they will gain 1 coin for it being the first row of locations. His free priest will also return to his free priest area, allowing that to be used for any other actions. Red won the area, so they will get their free priest back, and the benefit of the ruins, draw 1 miracle card. After that location is resolved, we move on to the next. This is the Thieves District. It reads, you may pay 3 to 13 coins to win in the location with the number equal to the amount paid. Now what this means is, if you have enough coin, you can pay anywhere between 3 to 13 coins and instantly win in that location. And here's how that works. Blue wants to get more followers, but green is currently winning this area. So what they're going to do is pay 3 coins equaling number 3 location. They will put those coins on the area and the free priest with it. Now when we reach this next area, the priest who paid the coins from the Thieves District will instantly win this location. So we move on. They are both 1. Now if there's ever a tie, whoever has the highest divine might on their cult sheet will win. But in this case, blue won the location because of the Thieves District. So blue will gain a follower as the benefit of this location. And since green was present and they lost, they will gain the bonus 1 coin as listed right next to the benefit. Moving on to number 4, we have the Forum. The benefit here is to take the Supremacy card. Now the Supremacy card is a very powerful card that allows some pretty powerful bonuses, such as you instantly gain +7 to your Patriarch's power, no matter where he is on the board. That takes effect immediately. If you own the Supremacy card, instead of preaching in the beginning of your turn, your very first action taken, you can announce that you're going to skip an entire round to gain one of these following bonuses. The bonuses to choose from are draw 4 miracle cards, gain 3 followers, draw 3 intrigue cards, gain 1 priest of any strength, or gain 20 coins. But in this case, blue only has 3 power. Red has a 2 influence priest and their patriarch, and since they have 2 followers, that patriarch is worth 2, putting him at 4. So blue will remove his. The bonus coins gained in this location is 2. So blue will gain 2 coins. Red will then take back his patriarch and his 2 influence and gain the Supremacy card. Moving on to the Temple District, number 5. Now the only cult here is green. So they're going to win that pretty easily. But in this case, the benefit reads, gain a priest with strength 1 or increase the strength of one of your free priests by 1. Now at this point, you're not done with this location, so this priest will stay here. This does refer specifically to free priests. So in this case, he only has 1 free priest available. And he decides to upgrade that number to the next. So you would discard your 1 influence priest and replace it with a 2. Now that you are done with this, you can remove the priest on that location and put him back as your free priest. Now we have the Trade District, number 6. Here, pretty simple, just gain 6 coins. Now if this game were to go any further, we have available number 7, the Artisan District. You may pay 5 coins to build an altar in a location with 1 of your priests. So at this point, none of these rows will have any priests on them. But if you had a priest further down the city, you could use this ability to instantly turn this priest into an altar. Number 8 is the Academy. you may pay 5 coins to increase the strength of one of your free priests by 2, or pay 11 coins to increase its strength by 4. Next, we have the port. You may pay 5 coins to gain 2 followers, or pay 11 coins for 4 followers. You are never able to have more than 9 followers at a time. Number 10, the palace. Take one of the face-up license cards here at no cost. So every license card has a cost, and when you pray, you're able to purchase them before you're done taking turns for the rest of that round. But in this case, you're allowed to take any one of these for free. Moving on, we have the Nobility District. Here you may draw 2 Intrigue cards, then return 1 Intrigue card from your hand to the top of the Intrigue deck. So you draw 2, choose one you like, and then put the other one on top. Now, one thing to be careful of is some of these Intrigue cards have the dark ritual symbol in the top left. What that symbol means is you cannot play this card at all unless your cult sheet is in the dark side. But does not mean you cannot gain it from the Nobility District. You can put that in your hand, and during your next pray, which ends your turn, you can sell this for the listed amount of coins. Next is the guard quarters. You may lose 2 followers to gain 1 fanatical mob. And then lastly, we've already gone over a little bit, but if you have the winning influence here, you can try to summon your god. Now, if you have influence equal to the number of divine might in the top right of your cult sheet, you can then flip your cult sheet to the dark side. Now, that will not only make the divine might massively bigger, but it will also give you all new abilities to choose from. We are now done with the resolution phase. Now, end of round, we will start by checking for victory conditions. Since no one has 5 altars, 4 fanatical mobs, or has summoned their cult's deity a second time, there are no winners. So, we will replenish any empty license spaces. Any priests that may be on a cult sheet now come off of said sheet and are now free priests again. And the person who won at the highest numbered location now becomes the new first player. Now, play is going to continue for as many rounds as are necessary, until one of the players reaches any of those 3 victory conditions. Your 5 altars, 4 fanatical mobs, or summoning your deity for the second time depicted by the back or the dark side of your cult sheet. At the end of the round, after one of those victory conditions are met, you now have a winner. The game is over. Congratulations, your cult has seized control of the world and will now bow and worship, well, whoever your god is. But remember, choose your god wisely. Thanks for joining me today and learning how to play Cult. Choose your god wisely.